So you heard, viewers, the statements that have come from different leaders of Pakistan after India made it clear, mitti mein mila denge, that's going to be the response, unimaginable response. And to help us understand India's options, we are joined by Lieutenant General D.S. Hooda, former Army Commander of the Northern Command. Sir, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. Sir, India has made it absolutely clear that the response to Pahalgam massacre will be unimaginable. The question I want to ask you is how and when?
So, Heena, how and when are questions that the government will answer. All that I can say is that we've already seen a very, very swift reaction and a fairly strong reaction, particularly in terms of, holding the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. This is a very big and strong step. I would also sort of go further and say these are only the initial steps. So you can expect more action being taken by the Indian government in future. And when I say more action, I would say that the military option is still on the table. So it's not as if because some steps have been taken that the government would not be considering the use of military forces. That would very much be there. It's best actually to leave the timing and the manner in which they do it to the government. They will be looking at the situation, studying the situation. The three service chiefs will have given their recommendation. So I think the timing is an issue that the government will carefully consider and take action. But take action they will. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind.
Okay. So you were the General Officer Commanding-in-Chief of the Northern Command and the Northern Army Commander during the surgical strikes in September 2016. So I want to ask you, Pakistan is very well aware of India's capabilities. It has seen, during the surgical strikes. So we also need to have an element of surprise. So in that sense, what are the possible military options available for India?
Look, the options are, so we've seen two different methods by which the military force was used in 2016 and 19. In 2016, ground forces, special forces were sent in across the line of control. In 2019, again, there was a surprise element in which the Air Force was used. Both options are still open. You can use ground troops, you can use air power. We now significantly have upgraded our Air Force arsenal with the Rafales having come in. What exactly manner in which it will be used, is actually not something that we can discuss, on television. But I said the Army is well prepared, the Air Force is well prepared, and so is our Navy well prepared. I'm sure they'll come up with good, plausible options if and when the government takes a decision that, yes, punishment that we want to give to Pakistan includes our use of military forces against them.
Absolutely. And officially, sir, just like always, Pakistan has denied the involvement this time as well. But we can't ignore the provocative statement by Pakistan's army chief just, within this week of the attack. In your opinion, why has Pakistan's army chief, General Asim Munir, risked a military confrontation with India despite Uri and Balakot? What is your assessment?
Look, we all know that Pakistan military is under enormous pressure, both in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and in Balochistan. This is a way of sort of distracting attention. Their importance is always that, we are the ideological defenders of Pakistan. Kashmir, he mentioned, is our jugular vein. I think the Prime Minister made the same kind of statement. So I think they just want to sort of keep their importance alive. Let me tell you, the act that has happened in Pahalgam is not something that is, sort of an opportunity target was found and this happened. This was a very well-planned, deliberate act, and it is meant to provoke India. It is meant to escalate the situation. And I have no doubt that it's completely the planning of the Pakistan army.
Well, absolutely. And sir, I also want to discuss with you a little bit about the modus operandi here. Definitely, it looks like a well thought out, well planned attack. Pahalgam attack was different in so many ways. Non-Muslims were targeted. Hindu men were identified. What does the modus operandi, the timing and the targets tell you about the agenda? You remember one of the victims even said, Modi ko jaake bolo. What does it tell you?
As I said, Heena, it's meant to provoke India. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind the manner in which, as you said, only the Hindus were singled out, only the males. Some were, made to say that can you recite some sort of Muslim hymn. Women were told, go and tell Prime Minister Modi. They know the Prime Minister is very, very tough on terrorism, is very, very tough on national security. Massacre of 26 innocent people. It's not something that we can ignore, that India can ignore, the political or military leadership can ignore. It's meant to deliberately escalate the situation and sort of try and again bring Pakistan Army into the limelight to say, oh look, we are here to defend our country. Pakistan Army chief also spoke about the fact that we are here supporting and will give full support to the Kashmiris. I mean, he should see the way people have turned out on the street and completely said this is not acceptable to us. So their aim only is to stir up trouble in India, to stir up violence in India. That is the only objective of Pakistan Army, and I think it's time that they are taught a lesson.
Well, absolutely. And also, sir, as per government, the area where the attack took place was supposed to be open for the tourists from next month. But tourists were already, being taken there. That perhaps gave an opportunity for these terrorists to strike. What does this make you question? The overground workers, the administration, or the forces?
Look, I think people are saying that there should have been some security force presence in this area. I agree with that. Now, what lapses have taken place? What was the reason why the tourists were permitted in this area without adequate security? These are some things that, surely the local government, the NIA is already investigating it. They will look into these aspects to make sure that, repetition doesn't happen. But definitely carefully selected targets, as I said, very well planned so that, security forces cannot react very quickly. This all has gone into the planning, which is why I doubt whether it is the work of some small local group. Definitely the fingers are pointing back at Pakistan.
Well, absolutely. And General Hooda, TRF initially had claimed the responsibility and then came the U-turn, blaming a so-called cyber intrusion. What could be the reason behind it? Could it be because of Pakistan's pressure on these groups following India's response, which perhaps Pakistan did not really anticipate this time? For example, suspending this Indus Water Treaty, keeping it in abeyance, something that India has spoken about, has thought about in the past, but never had, gone ahead and done. But this time, I mean, it survived several wars, several crises that we have seen with Pakistan. But this time, India said enough is enough.
Yeah, the way, as I said, some very, very quick and some very strong diplomatic steps were taken by India. And obviously, TRF had initially said that we have carried out this act. Now, just to tie in with the same narrative that is being parroted by Pakistani leaders that this is not done by us. There is a local rebellion which is happening in Kashmir, and so they are responsible. Which is why we are finding TRF, which we know is the front of the Lashkar-e-Toiba, is now attempting to backtrack and say, no, we haven't done anything. I don't know if Pakistan thinks that by TRF backtracking, India will not put a pressure on Pakistan. I think they're completely mistaken. The leadership in India completely determined to sort of make sure that there is a strong response to what has happened in Pahalgam.
So could it also be because of the kind of support we are getting from the world and Pakistan is getting more and more isolated?
That is true. The kind of outpouring of international support that India has got. In fact, the world is fed up with terrorism. The world is fed up with terrorists who are in Pakistan, and so obviously that pressure also builds up. If you look initially at statements that came out from Pakistani leadership, very, very hostile. This is an act of war. Some of it is still coming out. But suddenly now you find the Pak Prime Minister saying, "Oh, we are ready for a neutral probe, etc." This all shows that there is pressure that is mounting on Pakistan.
So there's also this buzz about Pakistan-Hamas tango. What is your assessment? Hamas representatives, according to reports, were given a red carpet in February at an anti-India event, which also had the presence of terrorists from Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, as well as Hizbul Mujahideen. And some reports also suggested that, the modus operandi was very, very similar to the attack by Hamas, something that we saw in Pahalgam as well, how innocent tourists were targeted.
Yeah, so you are seeing some imprints, for example, how the Israeli civilians who were in a music festival were targeted and somewhat similar. Look, groups like the Lashkar-e-Toiba, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, those which are being granted patronage by Pakistan, and groups like Hamas have the exact same ideology. So I'm not surprised, if there is a tango that is going on between these groups.
But do you think that can be dangerous, something that India should be wary of, be very, very careful about?
Look, India has to be careful about, terrorism. And I would say, although, people are questioning whether suddenly government's claims of normalcy in Jammu and Kashmir have been busted, I would, urge some caution before we start making some statements like this, because over the past few years, definitely there has been a crackdown. There has been reduction in violence. Things were getting better. Yes, there are going to be temporary effects, but I don't think we should assume that suddenly, because of this one attack, situation in Kashmir is suddenly going to go out of control, or terrorists are going to just start roaming around. That's not going to happen. So we have to deal with terrorists. We have to have what I call defensive steps in terms of securing civilians, securing ourselves, having a strong counter-infiltration grid, and then have a long-term comprehensive policy to deal with Pakistan, because that's where, sort of the fountainhead from where terrorism is coming.
And sir, I also want you to assess Pakistan's response. Defense Minister of Pakistan, Khwaja Asif, accepting that Pakistan has been backing and supporting terrorists for about 30-odd years, doing the dirty work for America. MP Sherry Rahman, you heard, has given a nuclear threat. Bilawal Bhutto has said that if not water, blood will flow. Deputy Prime Minister of Pakistan, Ishaq Dar, has called terrorist freedom fighters. The Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, calling for a neutral probe while repeating the jugular vein narrative. What do you think about these kind of statements that have come? Should these warnings be taken seriously?
Look, this is a regular playbook. Every time something happens, they try and flash the nuclear card. They make statements that we have nothing to do with it. We've seen that in 2016. We saw that in 2019 when Imran Khan again was, talking about we also own nuclear weapons and this, that, and the other. I think in some ways, what happened with the cross-border operations carried out by India is that some of this nuclear bluff has been called. That fine, both countries are nuclear armed, but that doesn't mean that we cannot take decisive military action against major acts of terrorism. That has been shown by India, that sort of we are not going to get completely cowed down by, a nuclear dhamki as your channel is showing.
Well, absolutely. And sir, I also want to ask you, you have the experience of 2016 surgical strikes. What would your advice to the government be in a situation that we are in right now? As they say, revenge is best served cold. So what will you like to advise the government?
No, so I said, frankly, now there are better advisors than me. The three service chiefs are there, and they are all very experienced officers who will give good advice. My only thing is, as you said, revenge is best served cold. I think we need to calmly think through the situation. Let's not be in any kind of haste. Pick and choose targets where we have almost 100% chance of success. Let's do it at a time when we are fully prepared for carrying out this option. Let's not be in a hurry. Let's not get swayed. Sorry, I'm saying this, by public sentiment that we must do something immediately, do something quickly. Let's leave it to the wisdom of our military and political leaders.
And last question, sir, before I let you go, as somebody who understands the whole thing much better than any of us, what would your advice be to the politicians in India? Of course, we have seen opposition supporting the government in the action that the government plans to take against Pakistan after this dastardly attack in Pahalgam. But still there are, voices coming from within the country which seem to be, in a way, not really backing the kind of, vow India has taken. We are seeing different voices emerging from some parts of the country. What will you like to say to them?
Look, I would just like to say that national security has no politics first. And the kind of incident that has happened, the kind of foe that we have in Pakistan needs a completely, approach where all political parties come together. I'm happy to see that, some of that is happening, where political parties in opposition have said that we stand with the government. We need to have a combined approach, completely away from politics, on how we are going to deal with Pakistan. If the opposition was in power, then they would have taken a decision. Ultimately, it's a decision to be taken by the government. And I think, any dissonance in this, or any voices trying to advise the government, are best left aside. Let the government deal with it, and let all the opposition parties. This is such a major incident that has shaken up India. And we all need to come together to deal with it.
I said that was going to be my last question, but very quickly, are we on the right track with the kind of response we have got from the government side so far in dealing with this? I think
it's a strong response to start with. As I said, I think we are going to see additional steps. We have led enough, from terrorism emanating from Pakistan, and I think it's time, and this government has shown its firm resolve. So I have no doubt that you will see further actions as we go ahead.
All right, Lieutenant General D.S. Hooda, thank you very much, sir, for speaking with us here on Times Now.
Pleasure, Heena. Pleasure.
And with this, we will slip into a very short break. We'll be back with lots more. Don't go anywhere.